Hello, wonderful people. Starting a little bit early here. Gonna do my usual visual and audio check, and we'll get rolling. There we go. I actually see it now. I see Sarah's here. Hello. Alright, music level sounds good. You can actually hear it and you can hear me. And the screen isn't too dark. I'll make it a little bit brighter. Alright, that little brightness bump should help. It looks ridiculous on my side, but it doesn't really affect my workflow though. Hello, both of you. And now wait the 20 seconds to watch the me you guys are saying do it. Yeah, it's better. And once I actually give him like a non-terrifying head, it'll all work out. Alright, I got my music playing in the background. Still Animal Crossing lo-fi. It's all I do now. I'll get started. Alright. Gonna get my timer going for 25 minutes. Even though I didn't model very much yesterday, I had a bunch of wrist pain, which is really weird. I haven't had that in a while, so hopefully I don't have that anymore. So right now I'm working on an Elven Druid. This is actually one of the 550 winners for Terry. He's super active in Discord, and he's the moderator for the chat, so you guys probably have seen him around. So I really want to make it extra good. This is the first model I've done where I actually did the folding clothes completely by hand. I didn't use any brushes, mainly because I really wanted like this like messy, chunky sort of folds for the pants. I think it actually looks pretty good. I didn't do too clean of a job because I'm just going to pose it and bend it and mess them up anyway. But yeah, I actually really like it. So I think that his face looks terrifying. So I would like to work on that first. So let's scooch in here to his face. And let's get this looking not like this. Alright, I'm going to actually split the face into its own object because I'll be doing elven ears, which is going to require some like deformation of the model, which means I'm going to want to use Dynamesh. Alright, we're going to split these points, close that up, and do the same thing with the head. There we go. And yeah, ugh. I don't do men very often, so I haven't seen this male base mesh in a while. It's so scary looking. I think I got this off of CJ Schrader a super long time ago. I really should make my own base meshes, but honestly, these work just fine, and I change them so much anyway, it doesn't really matter what I start with. Alright. So I have about 100,000 points here, which is plenty to start getting the basic face shape in. So I'll have my inflate brush, but really low. Oh, I want to make sure I record as well, because I am recording a speed sculpt for this. There we go. Alright, let's make this look elfy. So first things first, I'm going to make the face a little bit more narrow and bring up his jawline to be more distinct. Go for a long pointed face with super high cheekbones. So pretty much everything that I pretty much do naturally. I tend to make all my models look a little elven. Hey, Ricky's here. Hello. Borwin says, just wanted to thank you for music info. Use it in our session. Oh, awesome. That's so cool. Isn't it good? Ricky is actually the one who found it. Ricky is in the chat. I don't know if you guys know who he is. M3DM is obviously me, but it's also my significant other, Ricky. He does all of the like videos and stuff and helped me build the website and prints and pre-supporting prints and Kickstarter graphics. He does everything that I don't do, pretty much, which is anything but models. So yeah, he's pretty awesome. He's the one who found this music. Alright, let's get this face looking better. Faces are one of those things that are like, you really do like subtle changes. No, it's not subtle. Just because we see faces so often that we're very, very sensitive to any changes. I'm pretty heavy-handed with my changes still, just because I've done this like 100 times at this point, so I usually know what I want. Usually. Hey, Terry's here. Hello, Terry. This is your model, actually. I don't know if you saw the very first like minute of this stream, but I'm just starting on his face. Yeah, it looks silly now, but you know, it'll look good. But this is what I have so far. I don't know why the cape is now no longer brown. Let's wow, that's weird. And there we go. Now it's brown. But yeah, it's really early on, but it's gonna look awesome. I'm excited. Ah, and it's spinning. Stop it, ZBrush. Alright. Back to the face. So this guy is supposed to be in his 20s, so he's pretty young, so I plan to have all of his features pretty well defined. It's also going to have a short, scruffy beard and kind of long-ish hair. Obviously, Terry, since you were here, feel free if you're like, I want this specific hairstyle, you can link it in the chat and I'll look at it. Alright, continue to raise up the features a bit more, and let's give him some better cheekbones. I usually like to go damn standard and just kind of like do some cut marks right here, essentially, just so I remember like where the cheekbones are gonna go. Pretty much from the top of the ear just straight to the lip. And then with that really harsh line right there, it's kind of like an easier landmark for me to kind of push stuff around. His jaw is so wide on this base mesh, so it's kind of looking a little weird. You have to be really careful with adding like really strong cheekbones on characters, not make them look like emaciated. And yeah, with this base mesh, the face right here is really sloped right here, but I've really never seen any men that don't have a more prominent brow. So this should actually come forward a little bit more, because this section that's like right, that's the wrong brush. That's like right here, brow bone is a lot more pronounced on men. That's looking better. Alright, Sarah asked if we can link the music in the Discord. Awesome, Borwin's already on it. And Terry says, I'm happy seeing where it goes. Alright. Usually when working on elves, I do the ears first. This is like the first time I haven't done that. Alright, I'm actually going to Dynamesh at this point because I want to do the crease behind the eye right here, and if I don't have enough, I need to keep re-Dynameshing it because I'm stretching the polygon so much right there. Oops, that's awful. There we go. Do a higher resolution. The lips look weird, but I'll come back to them later. I'm going to mask this lid right here. I have a much better female base mesh that I work with. Because the eyes are just better defined. They actually have their own little polygroups on them. Again, I should just make my own base mesh, but I'm like, eh. Their eyes look so weird with their eyebrows. Alright, I'm gonna actually just use the clay buildup brush with Alt to kind of like dig this out a little bit, because it's kind of still clinging a little too closely. I just want to keep masking this edge right here just because I don't want to lose that, because then the whole eye is going to look weird. And I can reconstruct it, but sometimes it's really tough to reconstruct that. There we go. That's better. Now I can go in here with a small damp standard brush and carve out where the eye would be. That's much better. I like having some of my characters have really hooded eyes, but I wasn't really thinking that for this one. Kind of like showing more of the eye when I want to make them look a little bit more wise, and with this Elven Druid, that's kind of how I want him to look. Let me fix up the lips a little bit while I'm at it. Yeah, the eyes look much better already. The biggest mistake I see with lips is people don't dig deep enough. There we go. That already looks better. The edges are still a little weird, but again, later. He's looking a little bit more late 20s right now, but when I give him eyebrows, I'm sure I'll make him look a little more useful. There we go. It's funny, when I first started using ZBrush, I never used lazy mouse. That's where, like, when you drag a line, see the little red trail that I have. So, like, essentially, like, the brush effect is happening after I've passed over it. And I always thought it was super weird. I'm like, why would you want to, like, sculpt with a lag on it? And now it's, like, all I use. I don't know, it allows for much better control of your lines, and it's awesome. There we go. That's a bit better. I do want that line deeper, just not that much deeper. There we go. Smooth that out a little bit. Dynamesh at a higher resolution than that, because I want to keep the lips looking good too. That's the best we're gonna get. And I'll go through, and the only thing I don't like about these eyes right now is this top eyelid is still not very well defined. There we go. So that's before, that's the after. Makes a big difference. I really should have put an eyeball in, probably earlier, so we'll see what this eye shape looks like. It'll probably be fine, but if it looks dumb, I'll have no one to blame but myself. Yeah, not bad. The inside corners are a little bit large, but other than that, it looks pretty good. So I'll go in here with a pinch brush. I should probably check the chat. Oh, Walker's here. Hello, and Daniel. Excellent. Walker agrees. Lazy mouse is great. Yeah, it helps a lot. All right, Terry linked Epidemic Sound, which is super helpful. And Terry said, I was thinking with a half elf, it could have a beard. I've gone back and forth on so much, I figured if I want one later, I could just have my BL Jeff painted on. That's true. But yeah, the half elf definitely could have a beard. Yeah, I don't know. I'll think about it. Since it's gonna be, obviously it's your character. If you want a beard, I'll put a beard on it. But it'll work. It'll really work either way, honestly, because it'd just be like a really short, like close to his face beard. What was I doing? Oh yeah, pinch brush. So I'm just gonna close up the corners of the eyes right there, on the outside as well. His eyes look like these scary black pits because they're masked right now, so I'm gonna fix that. Where did they go? Ah, yeah, I have solo on. I'm like, alrighty then. I actually don't know what his eye color is supposed to be, but I feel like this really chilling light greenish color is interesting. I like it. He's still looking super scary without eyebrows. He needs them. His jawline also kind of has some funky business going on too. I should have shaped this a little bit better before jumping to the eyes, because now that I have more polygons, it'll be a little bit harder to smooth this area out, but it won't be impossible. It'll just take like, I don't know, 20 more seconds. I'm very impatient when I model. Terry says, whatever you think. You know better how I'll look overall. Thank you. I appreciate that you just trust me. most people that ask me to do their characters or obviously win the 550 are pretty cool with whatever I pick, but there's been a few times I've done like commissions, like expensive commissions, and like the things these people ask for, I'm like, you're not gonna like this. It's not gonna look good. And I do it and they're like, oh, I don't like that. I'm like, I know, I told you. Obviously, I'm a lot more polite than that. I don't know if I would be now. I probably wouldn't be that polite now. I've done enough commissions to where, I don't know, I'm a bit more comfortable with how I talk with clients. And sometimes I've noticed if you're not super direct, they just don't get it. Which makes sense. They don't make models every single day. Like, it's not their expertise. Let's see. That is not where those go. Those go here, I think. Yes. And then there's another one that's like back here. Just like loosely putting those there so I don't forget about them later. This like extra lump here just because of the way it fell into the shirt. What is going on there? This is making him look a little too not masculine, but like bodybuilder-esque. I'll make sure to thin out his neck later. I've been making, like, the only men I've been doing recently have been like ridiculously huge, like orcs and Goliaths and stuff. It's kind of nice to do it, elven male. I really like his side profile. It looks great. His chin's a little soft, but it looks really good. There we go. So that's the before and that's the after. It's such a small difference, but they all add up. Small differences like that on the rest of the model don't really matter, but with faces especially, again, we look at faces all the time. We're a little bit more picky with them. All right, let's finally give him eyebrows for like the 10th time I've said that. So eyebrows, I kind of just like blob them on, and then once I have them, I go in with Control and Alt to carve out the mask. I found that it works the best, rather than trying to trace it out like perfect the first time. Pretty much everything else I do, like with sculpting, it's more additive, but specifically with eyebrows, it's easier to do it a bit more subtractive. I want to keep them kind of high up, because it makes them look like almost like worried or inquisitive. I don't know, I feel like druids are always like a bit softer in nature. There we go. And then with eyebrows in the beginning, I just kind of scribble them on. And then at the end, I will go through and actually detail them. But I always wait till like the very end for that. Terry says, I'm super picky and demanding, as you know. Sarah says, what do you charge for commissions? And Terry linked my commission page. Thank you. Yeah, I'm hella expensive. It's like a minimum of $300. And if you don't want to spend that much, I totally understand. But it's pretty much because I had a lot of people asking me like, hey, will you sculpt this rock for me for $20? And I'm like, that's a good deal. Like, that's fine, but I don't want to, that's not what I want to do. So my commissions are limited to like big, awesome things, either a very detailed character or a dragon or that kind of stuff. That's why it's expensive. All right, Xander said, what are we making? Yep, Druid Half Elf. And then someone new said, greetings from Belgium. Hello, miniatures. All right. All right, I know that he's going to have brown hair. let's go ahead and poly paint his eyebrows, because otherwise there's not really a whole huge point to sculpting them on if there's no color, because it just blends right in. Huh, this is not really picking the color the way it's supposed to be. Oh well. I'll manually pick it then. That's not bad. So pretty much with poly paint, like, it defaults to 100 right here, but that's way too strong. I go around like 10-ish usually, and that works out fine. To everyone that is new, all these models I'm working on are for 3D printing, so I'm not too worried about the poly paint actually looking great or super clean for like UV maps or anything like that, or texturing, just because it's literally not going to matter. I just do it for me, because if it's just like this completely flesh tone model the entire time, it gets kind of it just feels weird to work on. Gonna put like a light shade to his eyes. I'm also gonna divide his eyes with the eyeball themselves, because they look a little bug-like right now. There we go, that's better. Alright, I'm going to turn off Z add for smooth, so I can go in here and smooth the poly paint without losing it. And I'm going to add a very light pink tone to his lips, which is more brown right now than anything. Alright, I'm going to turn the intensity super low and then just kind of like map out the tones. So our forehead's kind of yellow, our eyes and nose are kind of red, and our chin's kind of bluish. So I just kind of block those colors out a little bit, and it makes a much bigger difference than you'd think, because now he won't look as dead colored. So again, kind of blue tinge on the chin, and I guarantee you're like, I don't see any difference. I swear it's there. When I like zoom out again, you'll see like he looks a bit more lifelike now. Not so much realistic, but lifelike. Alright, I still have like some lumpiness going on with his jawline and stuff that's annoying me. There we go. That's better. This right here, this area, it looks ridiculous. But I'm kind of waiting on that for when I do the ears, which is probably me right now. And then I'll fix that. I can go ahead and smooth it out right now at Trim Dynamic to flatten that out. Terry says, my boy Damien is watching. He's very excited. That's awesome. I can't wait to hold him. And then Venture says, is that a Wacom tablet you're using? No, it's actually a, oh goodness, I just bought this. The box is next to me. It's a Microsoft Studio Book 2. That's what it is, which is way more expensive than what you need. I just love it because I can, the whole screen pulls off of the keyboard, and I can flip it around, put it back on the keyboard so it's backwards. This makes no sense, I'm sorry. And then put it like a tent. So if you guys can really see, but like this is the front part, and then it goes back like a tent. So yeah, it's awesome. I absolutely love it. So now I'm like really portable and stuff, because as you know, with like drawing tablets, you have to have a computer they're connected to. So you have your computer screen and your tablet screen, and it just, having a two-piece setup when you don't need it to be a two-piece setup, I don't know. I just thought it was too chunky of a setup, so I really like what I have now. There we go. That's looking pretty good. I still think his face is a little wonky looking, but again, he is bald and doesn't have the ears he's supposed to, so. So, let's see. And now I'm thinking about half-elves, and I'm like, wait, did they really look that much different? They're just, I didn't give him like super limber proportions like I would a normal elf, so he's pretty much like a normal man, but with an elfy face and ears. And I'm pretty sure that's pretty much what a half-elf is. I've done half-elves before, but that doesn't mean I did them right. I'm like constantly reading through the player's handbook, and other thing, just to make sure that I'm remembering things correctly. Okay, smoothing that out a little bit more. It's looking better. I'm gonna push this forward a little bit too. There we go. I thought his cheekbones looked weird. So that's the before. Yeah, before and after. It's a small difference, but now like his cheekbones are actually matching how extreme they are out here. I might soften up his cheekbones a little bit. They're pretty extreme. I'll do it later. A lot of people sculpt elven ears from scratch, and I totally respect that. But you really can just like deform a normal ear, and it works out pretty much fine. And then you have a lot of your basic structures already there. People that are familiar with my work know that I don't spend a whole lot of time with like ear structure because again, these are miniatures, and you're barely going to see that. Obviously, with like elf ears and stuff, I like to do a better job just because, you know, they're so much bigger. See, I kind of wish I did the head in subdivision levels. I might do that later and reproject it so I can break it in subdivision levels. It'll be easier to break out the face and stuff and smooth stuff out. There we go. I like it. The only caveat to the way that I do this is that if you don't exactly know how to use your move brush and how that interacts with what side of the screen that you're on, the way you're looking at it, it can be really, really hard. Alright, is this not working? Where is my color? Oh, right, I don't have... I forgot what I was doing. I normally have, instead of on dots, I have this on drag. So it'll make like a little... Here, I'll show you guys. Like a little island right here. I had forgot it wasn't on that, so I had a hard time finding it. Alright, just gonna darken the ears a little bit more, and there we go. He has a face. I'd say it's like 80% done. Like, it looks more or less the way I want it to, but there's definitely some things I want to fix. Alright, let's give him a lump of hair. So I just kind of go in here and mask this hairline really quickly, just like that. And I go back over and remove it from his ears. Yeah, looks good enough. I usually do about like 0.2-ish, and then I do double, which will make it twice as thick. It'll extract away from the model, oh my goodness, and towards the model. I thought I was at 0.2, but my hand slipped and went to like 0.9, so that's why it looked like that. Yeah, that's 0.3. Oh, the slider is so sensitive. I don't know why they did that. This is 0.1. Ah, whatever. Alright, so we have this ugly hair. Let's go ahead and make it brown. That didn't work. There we go. And then I'll go ahead and Dynamesh this. So it looks worse, but it will look better. Alright, let's get his hairline looking less like that. Alright, remember Terry said he wanted his hair like long-ish? So I imagine he'd have like little like wispies right here. They look like sideburns right now, but they're not. I'm going to increase resolution a little bit and then kind of just like pull this down. I feel like he's just looking full elf. I'm not seeing a whole lot of half elf here, but that's okay. I want to say again that's mostly in like the musculature and stuff, and he definitely doesn't have very well muscled features, but he is much heavier set than a typical elf I would be. His hair is looking a little bit too like pretty boy than what I intended for. Ugh, I do not like that middle part at all. Let me look at the concept art. Mitra says, my daughter uses a Huon tablet. Oh, that's what I started with. Those are awesome. Let's see. Terry said, I think they can really be anywhere between human and elf. Pretty loose definition, I think. Yeah, I think so too. And then Venture says, wow, cool model. Thank you. Sarah said, maybe shortening the ears would make him look more human than elf. Yeah, I agree. Probably. I'm gonna do that mainly because I think the tips of the ears are a little too fragile looking anyway. So those are a little bit shorter now, and then I'm gonna make them a tiny bit thicker. I like that. It's a small difference, but I don't know. I like it. Obviously, normal ears are not this thick, but again, this is going to be 3D printed, and I don't want it to look paper thin. There we go. Let's see. Walker says, just put a tattoo on his head that says half elf. I love it. We can do that. It won't even show up in a 3D print because it'd just be ink. So I can just paint it on. Terry, if you're watching right now, I have that, I don't know if you remember, but you sent me that concept art for how you like the armor to look, and the guy had like really shaggy hair and like a big beard and stuff. I imagine you don't want it like that messy, but if you'd like, you can like loosely describe how you'd like his hair to look. Because as of right now, he looks so like pretty, and I don't like it. I mean, if you like it, that's great, but I think he looks a little bit too like a fine surf right now. Also, I really don't like how I can't smooth anything out because this is too high poly, which is totally my mistake. So what I'm going to do, let's see if this will work. I'm going to duplicate this mesh, solo this. I'm going to ZBrush it and project it back on my subdivision levels because like there's so much more to smooth out here, and it's going to take forever if I try and do this manually. So I'm just going to do it the correct way. Just waiting for the process. There we go. All right, I will go ahead and divide this probably twice. That will probably be good enough. I'm going to overlap the face that I had before. There we go. And then I'll go to project. I'll actually have color on. It's usually like 0.02. I just put it to 0.1, and that tends to work a lot better, or just somewhere around there. And project all. Let's see, asset polypaint data, would you like to project polypaint? That would be great. I don't know how well it's going to work, but that'd be nice. Alright, awesome. Now I have a model with subdivision levels. It doesn't look, it's a little pixelated, but here, I'll show you guys. So this is the one I just made using that little like projection method. So now, see, I can go down to like super low subdivision levels. So I go through here with a smooth brush. I can like smooth out his face really, really quickly. But when it's high resolution like this, see how much like slower it is to do that? And that's what I've been complaining about. And now this is the original face, which obviously it looks a bit better and less pixelated. So I might divide this one more time just to make that look nicer. But with this one, the mesh looks like that. This is a much, much nicer mesh right here. So if I try to go through here, as you guys were seeing, and smooth out all this weird like chunkiness by his ears, I'm smoothing, nothing's happening. And that's because this is almost 1,000,000 points, and this is only 156,000. So yes, I don't think I've ever done that ZBrush projection process on screen before. I think I'm actually gonna do a ZBrush and projection lesson this Sunday for my $10 patron, just like fully in depth on how to do that. Just because it's something that I use all the time now, and it is super helpful. He's got some like funny business going on with his eyes right here. What are you doing? Stop that. There we go. All right, I'm gonna project one more time. I can't tell which one is which right now because they look so similar. There we go. All right, you want to make sure that you have the one selected that you want to project onto. Otherwise, it's not going to work. All right, project one more time. Let's see, Terry said, yeah, maybe a bit rugged. He's a loner out in the forest. Sounds good. Venture says, the head is super cool, definitely half elf. Thank you. Oh goodness, what did it do? So this is something that projection does sometimes. These really cute artifacts. Why are you doing that? I could mess with this and make it so it would work, but quite frankly, it doesn't really matter right now in this process. I can just resculpt his eyebrow texture and it's fine. I do like the corners of these eyes better though. Let's see. I think it's so funny. Like, I'm aware that I design for minis and yet I will still obsess on like eye corners, even though you won't be able to see them on a miniature. I don't care. All right. I'm just gonna delete this one. This is what we got now. Gonna turn everything back on. Oof, it looks super scary. Oof, the eyes look weird. Alright, let's resculpt this and see if I can recover this. Okay, that already looks a lot less scary. Yeah, that's better. Pardon me, I had to sneeze. I'm gonna add a little bit of texture to the eyebrows right here because it looks weird otherwise. That looks better. I feel like his eyes look so bald right now because I'm so used to doing eyelashes for the women I do. I mean, it's not really an eyelash, it's just like a giant sculpted cat eye wing, but you know what I mean. That is better. And now I can go to that lower subdivision level and actually smooth out all this weirdness I was complaining about earlier. Guy's hair looks so dumb. I'm just gonna hide it. I've never actually like properly sculpted like a guy's or really just short hairstyle before for a guy. So this will be fun. I always just cheat and just slick it back and I'm like, there we go. Luckily it's worked out because I've done like stuff like vampires, so having like the slick back hair looks great, but not in this case. See, that looks so much better. I was able to smooth that out. It doesn't look so chunky and weird because this should be pretty nice and smooth. Gosh, you know what this is reminding me of? You guys have played Dragon Age Inquisition. The clothing and everything, it totally reminds me of Solus. I loved that game. I loved that character until the end. And then I was very sad. Not going to spoil anything if you plan to play the game, but it's very sad. Unless you don't care about Solus, then I guess it doesn't matter. Alright, he's got some weird lines going around his nose because I couldn't decide where I wanted his nostril to be. So I will go to a lower subdivision level and smooth that out a little bit. That looks better. Again, subdivision levels for the win. I mean, you don't have to use them if you can just commit to what kind of line you're going to make. But if you're like me, I always forget how I want to do things. This allows me to go back and forth really quickly. That's a good side profile. Happy with that. All right, let's work on this hair. I want it to be like more rugged, which means I'm just gonna need to break symmetry and be okay with that. I just don't want to give him like a bowl haircut Bieber kind of look. But I do want to give him some sort of fringe. Okay, this is actually working out. Okay, sweet. I mean, I'm sure you guys are like, that looks ridiculous. It's okay. I can see where it's gonna go though. Go with clay buildup and make sure the back face mask is turned on, and now I can start kind of like blocking out different like hair groups, if that makes sense. Plan for there to be like a part right here-ish. Because he's young, so I think he'd have a hip hairstyle, even if he was in the woods by himself. I don't know, maybe like some of the dryads did his hair for him. It's like, here, I'll make you look good. Just kind of pulling off some little chunks here to remind myself later to make, I think if it would be cute if the back of his head was like kind of, hair was kind of curly. This looks infinitely better than what I had before. He still looks a little fine sir-like, but that's okay. That will be fixed. Not bad. Let me, my music pause. I will fix that. There we go. Carrie's gonna take off for a bit. A few links for everyone. Thank you. Total Bullion's here. Hit the like button. Thank you. And then Bruno's here. Half Elf Druid hype. Alright, I was supposed to take a break like an hour ago, but I'm totally misbehaving because I just had a bunch of fun doing this model. How does this, okay, there's a part of his jawline that still looks funky. So let me just go to a lower resolution on his face and smooth that out. That would actually be there in real life, but I am doing hyper idealized characters, so I want it to look good. Impossibly good. It's fantasy, it's fine. Can't decide how I want his jawline to look. See, I feel like the side profile is like perfect. It's everything I want it to be. And I feel like from the front, he just kind of looks a little like I don't know how to explain it. He looks too nice. I think that's what it is. I like doing like more evil looking characters, and he just looks like he's going to help you. And that's not the kind of character that I usually model or play. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave his face alone. It looks good. It totally looks good. I'm just being weird. But his hair is definitely a little flatter than it should be. Gonna pull this up a little bit, give it a little bit more volume. That's better. So yeah, this was the before, it's kind of stuck to his head. Just moving it up a little bit helps a lot. Ah, right, I'm gonna take a break. I forgot. Cool. So I'm gonna save this really quick, and then I'm gonna show you guys. Have I not saved this yet? Goodness, don't be like me. Be careful. Okay. Just gonna make a new, nope, that's not what I want. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. So this model is super fucking sick because he's gonna have an arm that is half turning into a bear. It's gonna be awesome. All right, half elf druid. Why does that keep going away? Stop it. Let me type this out. It's probably some touching my screen without meaning to. All right. And I do have a speed sculpt going for this, so while I am on a break, I'm going to export this, and you guys will be able to see this entire model from the very, very beginning. So if you just joined, you don't know what's going on, bam, you're about to see everything unravel before your eyes. So cool. Terry says, pull a picture of Justin Trudeau during your break, Mia. Isn't that the Prime Minister of Canada? Can be embarrassed. Oh, cool, it is. It is. Be embarrassed if I was wrong. If that's the hairstyle you're suggesting, I love it. I assume. But yeah. Yeah, so he has a long face too. This is your Prime Minister? That's a good looking guy. I have an orange potato. Oh well. You win some, you lose some. Terry says, thanks for doing that, Mia. You're welcome. I think they're fun to do anyway, so. I think you guys would be embarrassed if you guys knew how often I watch my own speed sculpts. I'm not going to give you a number. I'm just going to tell you I do it a lot. I only have like 3 to look through too, so I don't know. I just find it so much fun to watch. Like, all right, I'm actually going to pull up the video, the live stream you guys are seeing, because this is actually pretty bright. I want to make sure it doesn't look too dumb. Yeah, it looks a little blown out on your guys' side. It's fine. It exports really bright like this. I don't know why. Alright, I'm going to answer some emails for a second, and then I'm going to get myself a bagel. I have a lot more emails again because, so when I first started Patreon, I would send every single person that joined a welcome message. I stopped doing that after I started getting like a ton of people and I started feeling stressed out. And I just had a lot going on. But now I'm actually doing it again, sending personal welcome messages to everyone. Just because, I don't know, it makes me happy. And recently I went through, not recently, like last month, I went through and I disabled notifications for everything. I don't get Thingiverse comments, YouTube, Twitter. I don't get notifications for anything because there's too many assholes asking for my attention. So instead, I'm using that time that I've saved to send nice messages on Patreon because you guys don't suck. Terry says the boots, those are sweet too. Yeah, they're actually the same ones from the Furbog that you liked as well, which I do feel a little lazy about reusing because, I don't know, I'm trying to make this model like extra super good. But yeah, I might change the boots a little bit to make them different, but they do look really good. They fit this character so well, so yeah. God, this is so, when it exports, it is so bright. Luckily, Ricky knows his shit, and he's able to color correct this when he makes it into a nice video for you guys. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get a bagel. the bagel is toasting. So I'm going to get a render on this, and then put my little break sign, and I'm going to eat a bagel and hang out with you guys. If you guys have any questions, this would be a super good time to ask me because I'll just be hanging out. Alright. Light. What was I doing? Right. Should be pure shadow. These aren't precise settings. You can tell I kind of click around and that. Yeah, there we go. Look how fancy he looks. I love it. Alright. And we'll go here. Where are we? I have a little break sign. There we go. This is just because I have all my live streams are archived for my $10 patrons, which sounds like an ad, but I'm really just explaining something. Because that way when they're looking through my live streams and stuff, if I'm just not working for 20 minutes, they don't know why, they can look up and see it's because I was on a break. So this render actually is like a huge confidence boost because look at the way the light falls on his other cheekbone here. It's perfect. I'm very happy with that. Let's see. Daniel is here. Hello. The belt looks amazing. Just finished printing one that looked like it went through the microwave. It was hard to paint. Yours is like a dream to paint. Aw, thank you. And yeah, I'm really happy with the belt. This is the first belt I've ever made where I actually did it like proper in 3 segments, which means the buckle is its own piece, the main belt, and then that extra excess part. There should be 3 other holes like next to it where the belt could also be tightened or loosened, but they looked so dumb. Like I couldn't figure out how to do 3 little holes right there and it looked stupid. But yeah, I'm really happy with the belt too. That's all I meant to say. Thanks. Boren says, give me some attention. You've been given attention. I'm gonna grab a bagel. I think it's done toasting. Alright, Terry says, I definitely have questions about projecting, but that can wait till Sunday. Yeah, I'll just do last night on Sunday. Super in-depth. Boren said, I did not expect that. Thank you for doing this. It's really nice to see how your models are made. Yeah, no, of course. I'm glad that you like it. Anyone else has more questions, feel free to ask. I'm going to be like muting and unmuting constantly while I eat because I'm a quiet eater. My mic is right here. And if you're anything like me, I hate the sound of people eating. What is it called? Misophonia? Like, I actually have it. I'll be like in tears. I'm a total weirdo with it. Anyway, fun quirk about me. Gonna eat my bagel. Timothy says, have you any good D&D stories? Oh, yes. Let's see. The first one that comes to mind is actually in Walker's campaign, which we're doing right now. I play a water genasi named Pebble, and we were all locked up, we're chained up, and we didn't have any keys or anything like that, but I'm a water genasi swashbuckler, so I can still pick locks and stuff, and I know shape water, and then our artificer could freeze water. So I was thinking about like fashioning like water picks to try and like break out, you know? But the issue being, like, we didn't have any water, so it kind of this really weird question of, like, well, does anyone have to pee? Because pee is mostly water. Someone had a water skin, I think it turned out, so, like, it didn't matter. Like, we didn't have to make pee picks to get out of our locks. But it was really cool and did end up working out. I think this is actually in the first campaign. Yeah, anyway, it was super fun. So that's the first story that came to mind. You're welcome. Let's see. Terry is talking to Borwin, saying you get a chance to win a commission when you're a patron. Also, if you participate in the painting contest each month. Yep. All right. Borwin says, I'm a patron already for some time. I can't paint even if you would put a gun to my head. Yeah, I feel it. I see Terry's laughing over the pee pics. Yeah, I don't know what else to call it. I don't think we even called them that, like, in the campaign. I don't know why. But yeah, it was funny. See, Walker asks, how's the bagel? Extremely good. Also, Terry, your story about your kids in paint is hilarious. And, bro, water washable, you got it. That's so funny. Timmy says, if you're looking for other ways to engage your community, maybe you can do a diorama assignment or something. Oh my god, that'd be so freaking cool. I might do that. Like, construct a forest scene or that kind of thing. I say forest scene because immediately I'm like, how can I get people to paint more of my forest guardians? Because that made my month. That was so cool. There's like, I saw like 30 to 50 painted forest guardians that month. It was awesome. Let's see. Terry says, how's your supply of potatoes, Walker? Are you able to keep stock? I think he's doing good. And if not, Walker, I have a ton of potatoes, so you can come get them. I keep seeing whoever's watching this, like the numbers going up to like 15 down to 10 to 15 down to 10, and it's like whoever's just joining it, it's like, is this girl just eating a bagel the whole live stream? Like, no, I do work on ZBrush stuff. I'm just taking a break. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Alright, we're gonna get back to work. Let me check the chat one more time. We'll be good. Sarah says, well, I'm out of luck then for winning a free commission for at least a few months in my group. We split who bought what to spread out the cost. Gotcha. Borwin says, what is the highest cat people watching your live stream, Mia? I think like around 13 concurrent, but as far as the whole live stream goes, it's around anywhere between 50 to 100 people, and the average watch time somewhere around like 30 minutes. Let's see. Sarah says, I'm buying STLs, but another person gets a 3D printer, another person got the mini paint, so I'm not going to be able to paint or print May till quarantine's over. Yeah, that sucks. Hopefully this will be over sooner than later. But at least you guys all have like a team worked out. That's cool. All right, let's get back to work. All right, make sure to resume my speed sculpt. All right, here we go. All right, what was I doing next? Yeah, I like the short sleeves he has going on. I don't plan to put anything else on his arms, especially because one arm is going to be a bear. Let's see. Probably work on the cape. And the hood. That needs work. Yeah, I'll do that. Alright. Now that I have a plan, let's get to it. Create some panel loops here. I'm going to increase the thickness a bit. I'm going to divide, get rid of all the subdivision levels that look all weird, and then I'm going to dynamesh it. And then with back face mask, I'm going to start to sculpt up a hood. Isn't that so satisfying? I don't know, I feel like that's like the most satisfying thing to like watch the clay buildup brush work. That's pretty much how I make hoods. I just sculpt them up. But make sure you have back face mask, otherwise it's going to put a giant hole on the other side of your model. Took me longer than I'd like to admit to learn what back face mask was. Alright, I'm dynamic again, but a much lower resolution. That way we can smooth this out easier. Go with damp standard to build up the edge of the hood. And then later on I'll go through and actually make like all the creases and folds and all that kind of stuff. Everything that makes it, you know, actually look like a hood. I'm also going to pull the back of this up a bit, because since it dips down right there, I think it looks kind of weird. I can dynamic it even lower, because even at 100,000 points, it's just taking too long to smooth out. Oh, my smooth brush is only 18. Well, that'd be why. 18 out of 100, in case you know what I'm talking about. That just is the intensity, just how like strong the brush is, essentially. There we go. That looks pretty good. So I've actually started using the standard brush. Believe it or not, if you use ZBrush, you'll find that crazy that I didn't use it all the time before. No, I usually just use clay buildup, but without a alpha on it. But yeah, no, using this has been awesome. So I've done all of the fabric folds pretty much. Where am I? Oh, there I am. Come on, ZBrush. It's having a hard time rejecting my palm in the touchscreen. I could probably go into the settings on my next break to figure that out. Speaking of, I will set another timer for 25 minutes. Having my screen at a much like lower incline, I think it's gonna help my wrist too. I thought it was so weird that it hurt so much yesterday. I only modeled for like an hour. There we go. He now has a giant hood. I'm gonna divide this once, so now it's at double the amount of points, and I'm gonna like sculpt out like a bit of a trim on this. That looked way better than I anticipated for on the first run. Awesome. Looks good enough to me. And since he's a druid, I'm gonna kind of just sculpt some like cool, pretty like little patterns right here. I'm not doing it too ornate or too thin, otherwise you won't even see it once it's printed. I'm gonna put a seam right here, kind of like how it would be stitched together. There we go. I'm also gonna make this a lot wider now. Normally I recommend sculpting like designs after you have like your general shape done, but in this case I knew I was just gonna be doing like little swirls and stuff, so I didn't mind. I knew it would just make the swirls look cooler. Gonna turn on transparency to make sure that this is sitting on his body the way that it should be. And it is. Looks pretty good. Pretty simple hood, looks good. Come on. There we go. smoothing out the cape right now. I'm really not going to worry about the cape too much until a lot later because it's going to have a pretty dramatic pose to it. So let's see if I can actually block that out a little bit now. So I'm going to turn off symmetry and go into bend arc because this cape is going to be swooshing around the front of the character. So let's see, that's a swoosh to the left. That's not doing what I want it to. I know that these deformers depend on where your gizmo is located. I'm not sure if I need to be on the far right or far left, so we're going to figure it out together. That's wrong. I'm curious if I can use this in conjunction with a mask, because it looks like my gizmo keeps resetting, which is annoying. Yeah, it's doing the same thing. I thought it was dependent on where gizmo is located, but I guess not. You know what? I know there is another deformer I can use, though, where I can do this manually. Deformer soft should work for this. I can just manually pull out all the different little areas I want this cape to be. You need to be careful when doing stuff like this, because otherwise it might not end up cape shaped. What I mean by that is it's not a shape that is possible, so it's going to make your cape look really weird. I'm especially guilty of that. If I'm doing like a dramatic cape shape, like it's not possible. It's definitely not laid out the way that it should be. It might be a little challenging to do this full sweep in front, so I might just do it to the side. We'll see where the cape takes me. Good amount of drama in that. I like it. And then I can pivot this right here. I'm gonna hide the hood right now because it's making it a little difficult to see. Not his hair. His hair can stay. And I can just grab the move brush to move this around where I need it to be. Yeah, I think it's actually going to look pretty good. I'm not worried about tucking behind his arm or anything, because obviously the character's not posed. Just kind of getting like a rough idea of where I want this to be. Gonna squish it a little bit, just because it's a little too far out right now. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and mask this. I'm gonna blur the mask a bunch of times, and then I'll add a bend right here, just because it's I don't want it to be too far off the base. I want to make sure that I like to keep my minis like on their 25mm base. When there's pieces that are like flying off of it, it can be really annoying or try to move stuff around the table. They sure do look cool though. I would love to do Kickstarter just impractical minis, really cool dramatic poses and stuff, but totally impractical for tabletop use. Alright, that looks pretty good. He has a dramatic cape. Much drama. Let's make it a darker color too. Or maybe like a more red color. Nah, I like the dark. That's cool. I love the color of his pants though. I think it's really cool and like earthy tone. Alright, so I'm going to split the arms into different objects, or at least different polygroups at this point. Normally, I've been trying to stay away from doing both of them split because it's really hard to reconstruct the shoulders, but in this case, I might split one of these arms entirely just because it's going to be sculpted totally different. I'm going to make it into a bear arm. I've modeled bears before, but I don't know if I did a great job with the paws. I'm trying to think it'd be worth importing one of those paws right now. You know what, I don't want to do like an entire bear paw. That'd look weird because I'd have to like change. I don't think they have 5. I think they have like 4 fingers, yeah. So maybe I'll just do like really long nails and like really thick fur down his arm instead. It'd be easier to do, but it'd also make more sense, I think. Terry says it's gonna look cool. I'll have to update my Roll20 token and profile image too. Very cool. Yeah, this arm's gonna need so much sculpting on it and stuff. I'm actually gonna just split it into its own piece. That is the opposite of what I meant to do. And you know what? It probably matters what arm it is. Oh no, you can just mirror the model. I assume right-handed. But if you want him to do left-handed, I can just mirror the model at the end, so it wouldn't even matter. There we go. Split mask points. Now the arm is its own separate piece, and I can go ahead and dynamesh this at a much higher resolution. There we go. All right. Let's make this look cool, shall we? Get a clay buildup and make sure back face mask is turned on. And I'm gonna start adding like semblances of what this would look like if it was transforming into a bear. I'm gonna tint this whole arm brown, also because it's just gonna be easier to see right now. Alright, so right now I'm just trying to make these look more claw-like, so I'm making them... Actually, I'm probably not going to make them a whole lot longer. I'm just going to make the base of them thicker and then shape these fingertips into claws. Just using the pinch brush should work pretty well. We'll see. Let me go ahead and go through these and actually polygroup all the tips where the claws should be at, and that's going to make this a bit easier. So I'm just masking them and clicking Control W. And then if I go to Shift F, you can see all the little groups. That'll just make it easier for me to isolate and do what I want. Much, much better. So right now it's kind of loosely blocking out a more prominent finger shape, I guess you could say. Just kind of doing a sketch of sorts. And then I will do a light smooth on this. And then I have a fur brush that's going to work really nicely for this. I go in with a alpha and scratch up the claws a little bit. Nothing too fancy, just a little light texture right there will go a long way, and then I'll throw some poly paint on him. Okay, and I'm gonna go in with a fur brush. There's a few that I like. For this one, I'm gonna use one from Flip Normals. I think do like really thick fur, kind of like a grizzly bear. You have to be really careful like the way that it overlaps, so just using smooth and then just doing some manual sculpting to get the edges that you want. Usually I can get away without doing too much manual sculpting for this. I can keep my process pretty streamlined. I'm actually going to Dynamesh again because I'm just kind of getting some pixelation that shouldn't be happening this early on. There we go. That looks much, much cleaner. Smooth out any edges that are looking kind of funny, and then you can go through those with either manually sculpting some fur or just using a different section there. If you're careful, it actually lines up pretty well. That immediately makes him so much more interesting of a character. I like it. Alright, I'm going to make all of this a bit darker in color. Also gonna make this arm a little bit bigger. Not too much though, because I don't want it to look like two completely different arms. Even though he is becoming a different shape, this is still early stages, so. looks pretty good. Gonna need to make this sleeve a little bit bigger, just because, you know, he's turning into a bear. Gonna make this a little bit shorter then. Oops, that's wrong. I'm gonna add more of like a lifelike skin tone to him as well, because he's really, really pale right now. Alright, that's looking better. Alright, I'm really happy the way this is coming out. I'm putting off the hair to the end because it's going to take a lot of work to make it look good. And I don't want to half-ass it. I know I will if I do it right now. So I just won't do it right now. And instead, I'm going to make the weapon, I think. I'm also going to look at the chat because I haven't actually looked at what you guys are talking about in a while. Let's see. I see you're talking about different stuff related to D&D. I assume. And roll 20. Neat. Alright. Also merging a few things down that I know that I'm not going to be separating later, like the boots are going to be attached to his pants for sure. So I'm just simplifying my subtools a little bit. There's not a ton I can do to simplify stuff right now, but just a little bit. Makes it easier in the long run. Here we go. That's more or less how I want that organized. Alright, let's go ahead and make the weapon and give him his shirt back. There we go. Essentially, it's just going to be like a little, almost like a little sapling, like a piece of wood with little leaves coming off of it. But looking very cute. Terry says, supper time, hop back on later, still streaming. Super excited. I'm glad you like it so far too. Have a good dinner. And my timer just went off as well, so I'm gonna be good and actually take a break. I'm also going to let the speed sculpt run again. I export it constantly because if ZBrush crashes, I just lose all of it, which, you know, sucks. So this might be boring for some of you because you've already seen it, and if so, I am sorry, but here we go, start to finish one more time. I'm not gonna like get food or anything, so it's not gonna be nearly as long as a break. Pretty much once this speed sculpt is done, I'm gonna get back to work again. But in the meantime, if you are new here or just watching the speed sculpt for the first time and you see anything that you're like, how did you do that? Let me know, I'll answer. In the meantime, I'm going to answer emails. Oh wow, I don't have any for once, which I mean makes sense, it's only been 30 minutes, but you'd be surprised. But everyone's going to bed. It's 1:30 a.m. there. Ooh, it is early. Or so late it's early. Anyway, get some good sleep. Thanks for joining and hanging out. It was fun. That initial hairstyle looks so dumb. Daniel says, is this guy going to be available in some fashion once finished? He sure is. He's going to be released on Patreon in like a week. And then in next month, he's released for free on Thingiverse. So yeah. It's always fun to watch speed sculpts when you're the one who made it, just so I can kind of look back and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I would have done that differently. It's like, oh, that was unnecessary. It sounds being like hypercritical, but really just being like, I don't know, trying to learn from it. Some people are really like suspicious or skeptical of how I went from never touching a 3D software in my life to not even 2 years later doing it full time for a living, and I'm like, this is how. Being super, super observant of my own work and my own processes, and just being like, okay, constantly micromanaging and what little things I can improve. It goes a long way. I can make a list of like easily like 10, 20 things just watching this, and I'm like, oh, okay, this could be better, that could be better. Doesn't mean I don't like it. I do like it. I think it looks awesome. I think that's an important part too. Like, as an artist, in order to improve, you don't have to hate your work. You can still like it. Like, just because you see faults with it, I don't know. I feel like some people forget to like their work. All right, sweet. Let's get back to it. A 25-minute timer, and we're good. Walker said, how's your day been? Hear from Ricky. He was here in the beginning of the stream, but I haven't heard from him, like, outside of this live stream, so I assume he's having fun wherever he goes. And yeah, my day's been really good, though. I woke up and didn't feel too weird. I don't know, like, I keep thinking, like, the day before I felt weird, and then today I feel, like, better. But the quarantine thing, I just feel weird perpetually. But I'm getting less weird, so that's good. But it is, yeah. I saw that yesterday they extended the shelter at home thing till May 6th. And I'm just like, oh my god, at least another month of this? You know, it was kind of tough to read, but obviously I want people to be safe, so. I am complaining, not complaining. That's the best way I can put that. There we go. But yeah, I hope you've also been doing well, Walker. I can't imagine having to, like, teach during this. It seems like a disaster. Alright, so I went through and Dynameshed this, so there's more even groups. And then I'm going to actually lighten this color a little bit, because it's a little hard to see what's going on. There we go, that's a better brown. Divide this a bunch of times, and then I have 2 surface modifiers I know would look really good with this. But first, I want this shape to be a little bit more interesting, so I'm going to go to a lower resolution, and I'm going to move this around. Go. A little bit more of an interesting shape. I'm going to go ahead and taper the ends as well. Probably just the top. There we go. Because essentially it's just me a tree branch. That's not what I wanted. Where was I? Ah! It's been a long time since I've done this. Jumped somewhere I didn't mean to be. Where is my entire model? Here we go. I just changed it by accident. I thought I changed subtool, but I didn't. I just appended a cylinder and replaced the whole thing. That's okay. We're back. Alright. I'm going to save before I do this because ZBrush tends to crash at surface modifiers. Also going to resume the speed sculpt because I forgot. So it'll be missing how I bent this, but that's fine. Alright. go to noise plug. Yep, and it crashed. It usually only does it the first time. It hasn't done this in a long time, actually, so it's okay. But it gets really upset when I try to go to noise plugin for some reason. ZBrush is aware of the issue, I think, but whatever. Let's see, Walker said, it's spring break. No teaching this last week. I started again Monday. Yeah, like I know it's spring break, but like you're still like in teaching mode overall. I don't know, it just seems like a mess. I hope you don't get too many emails of dumb questions. I mean, I'd recommend just not checking it at all. Yeah, ZBrush, I know you terminated abnormally. There's a newer version of ZBrush? What? No way. Well, I will do that right after. That must have like just come out because that didn't pop up earlier. You know what? I have 2020 1.1. I bet it's... I have to look at this now. I'm so curious. Is there like a cool update, or is it just like we fixed one bug that might affect you? Yeah, no, 20.1.2 came out May 30th. I mean, it's not super old, but like, how did I miss that? Whatever. Back to work. I got a noise plug, and it did not crash this time. Yay. Gonna make the strength pretty much all the way, just so I can really clearly see where all the lines are at. I'm also gonna put the strength the other way, because I want it to look like whittled wood. That looks good. I don't want there to be any noise either. I like how that looks. Let me see if this will actually apply to mesh or it's going to destroy it. Yeah, it destroyed it. Neat. Okay. See, I don't actually know what what affects that, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would know what to do. I know that strength is an issue for sure. So if I put the strength to like nothing, it shouldn't affect it really. Yeah. So I'll just do it really, really gradual. Like, how does that even happen? It looks so stupid. Let me see if I give it more points, if that will help. Because it's only 100,000 points. Now we're closer to 1,000,000 at this point. I know I googled this before and ZBrush had a short tutorial on it, but of course, like the example they picked, there wasn't really a problem to start with, so it wasn't super helpful. Yeah, that didn't change anything. Why are you like this, ZBrush? I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. Right here especially is where it's condensing a bunch, and that seems to be like where it's masked more almost. So I wonder... It's like the softer that mask is, the better it does, or the less it like, you know, ruins the entire thing. At this point, I might just mask it and then just do this manually, but use this as like a guide of sorts. So I can mask by noise. Oh wow, that's useless. Neat. This is just unusable though. Oh, this is so frustrating. Usually it does a pretty good job. Like, I'm able to do this and it's not like the end of the world. Walker says, I've definitely ignored emails. Some of them are being a lot. Yeah, that sounds frustrating. I mean, I get that they're probably all stressed out too, but like, it's like you still have to put in the work. Oh my goodness, what is this? This is a whole new kind of glitch. I know, don't get me wrong, I'm certain that I know, if I knew how to use this better, it'd be fine. Okay, so let's make sense of this. I predict that if I do this plugin scale lower, it's going to do a better job. Because I think what the mesh is doing is it's like collapsing in on itself. So this should do a better job. And it did. I figured it out. Such a genius. Okay. So if I have this mask overlap on itself, because the bigger I make this, I know that there are little sections of this that they look like the same mask, it's the same color, I think, but it's like collapsing on itself is the best I can explain it. So this should get me more or less what I want. Yeah, I mean, it's better. I can roll with this. And I'll go through with a trim dynamic brush and then clean up any areas that I think are a bit too much. I'm also going to poly paint the whole thing one consistent color so it's easier for me to see. Going to inflate it a little bit too so it's not too fragile. I mean, it looks interesting. And then I have a light box modifier that I like a lot, this one. And I feel like this really just like polishes it off and makes it look super cool. This one also had kind of like a weird effect. It caused it to inflate, so what if I just deflate it first? Kind of cancel it out. Yeah, it didn't work. That's okay. Woo! That shows that I'm learning. That actually worked. Sweet. And now I have these little knots that are already like pre-made here for me to put like little leaves and stuff on. That looks super interesting. I'm not saying it looks like the way it's supposed to, but I like it. It's a magic piece of wood. I mean, it could look like liquid-y tree rings, I think. It's cool. Putting a gradient on this because that's like my favorite thing to do. And then I'm going to make a cute little leaf. Cool. Looks leaf-like. I'm gonna do that again, but not so close together. There we go, that's looking better. I think that's kind of going to like feather mode, and I'm like, wait, this is a leaf and not a feather. I forgot to do the other side, but that's okay. I should be able to mirror and weld this, and that'll be fine. Didn't mirror the right side of it. That's okay. Can mirror it again, mirror and weld again. There we go. We get a bend arc, add a slight curve to this, and then we have a little leaf. This looks so much cuter than I anticipated. I freaking love it. I'm also going to make this a little bit longer because I have a feeling It's gonna look weird otherwise. Just to be safe though, I have these poly groups. If I need to move these leaves around later, I'll be able to. Confused why this isn't masking. What is with this? Whatever. There we go. That looks good, and that is totally 3D printable. So now he has a stick. I want to make the bottom all cool with like little tree roots and stuff, but I thought about it and I was like, ah. I don't think it's gonna be worth it because it's gonna make it really fragile, and unless it's touching the ground, it's just gonna look weird. I think the only thing left to do is his hair. I just really don't want to. I just don't really want to do it. See, I love doing hair for like women because I can get away with it being like one like hair chunk, if that makes sense. But with like this hairstyle is made shorter and messier, so it needs to have very clear, distinct, different little hair chunks. You know what? It's probably not gonna be that bad. Let's see. I have 8 minutes left of my timer, so I'll work on this for a little bit. And then once that timer is up, I'll probably just be done with today's live stream. I have some commission work I need to get done anyway, and I don't know if they're okay with me live streaming it, so I'll have to ask them. You know what? I probably won't even ask him because I have so much I can model live anyway. I don't really need to worry if I can do my commission work live as well. So I'm just going through with this clay buildup brush and defining these sections more clearly. Looks like my speed sculpt isn't recording, is it? Damn it, it wasn't. Sad day. Oh well. Oh, because after it crashed, I forgot to do it again. That's okay. The weapon will just come out of nowhere. It wasn't a super intriguing process or difficult, so it's okay. And this will be a little hair chunk. As you can tell, I'm being like just really loose with these motions. With hair, it's important not to get too technical with it, especially if you're going for a scruffier hairstyle like this. Otherwise, it's probably just not going to quite turn out the way you intend for it to. So I'm gonna go through with the move brush and just kind of segment these areas a little bit better. I gotta say, this is working out a lot better than I thought it was going to. I'm kind of relieved. It might just be the poly paint that's covering a lot of like mistakes, but I'll take it. Because as of right now, I think it's turning out pretty good. My neighbors are moving from one apartment to the one right next to it, so they're just walking back and forth, and I, for some reason, keep looking every single time they walk by. So don't mind me. In case you're wondering, like, I'm not being robbed or paranoid. I'm just like, oh, my neighbors. Oh, it's my neighbors. I think his hair still didn't turn out looking too unkempt. He still kind of looks like a fancy boy, but I can't help it. I just make everything pretty. Which is funny because like I've done a lot of like really disgusting monsters too, but like it's either or. I am not great at slightly rugged. What's important with hair is like to look at it again from a bunch of different like angles because you know it's 3D and it has a lot of different directions of motion. It has like one primary obviously, but you'd be surprised how dynamic it is. At least I know I was when I first started doing it. He is such a fine sir. I am really happy with this. I've also been looking at it for a long time, so I guarantee there's a lot wrong with it that I just haven't seen yet. And then when I open this up in like an hour, I'll be like, fuck. Yeah, it's pretty solid. Kind of lower his expression a little bit. I don't know why he has like this wide open eye. Probably just trying to get the eye structure right. There we go, kind of a bit of a tougher look now. And make his eye like actually fit his eye shape a little better. Yeah, because as of right now, it's a little too far back. I don't mind exaggerating the gap a little bit just because the farther apart those two are, the more distinct it is in a 3D print. This is making him look a little alien, but that's okay. That's better. This part of his hair is still a little too close up to him. See, I know what I want to happen here. I'll probably define that better tomorrow. As of right now, I'll put some like markers to remind myself, just in case I see this later. And I'm like, what is this thing? It's supposed to be like a little swoop. I ended up pretty much just detailing it entirely, but that's fine. I'm gonna go through here with a damp sander brush and just kind of like further segment each like hair chunk just a little bit, and then I will call this good. Not like the hair done. I mean, maybe. We'll see what I think about it later. As of right now, I think it looks very unfinished. But his fabulous hair is definitely not the focal point of this model. I would say it's the cape and the bear arm. So I'm not too worried about this looking perfect. Alright, my timer just went off, which is great. I think I might add like one more hair chunk like right there, just later. Alright, I think that's where this is gonna leave it. Probably put a nice render on that, leave that on the screen for like a couple seconds, and then I will do whatever's left of this speed sculpt because I have to export it anyway. Very nice. Alright, cool. So let's do the hair. And then I'll be off. Yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with me. This was a fun live stream and much longer than my one yesterday. It was only like 30 minutes or something like that. I don't know if I'm going to live streaming tomorrow. I definitely will be for my $10 patrons. I'll be doing a class on projection and ZBrush and how those work together really nicely. Other than that, I might not live stream tomorrow. You might not see me till Monday. Just looking at this model, I'm very happy with this. He definitely looks very half-elf and very druid. Yay. Anyway guys, I will see you later. Thank you again so much for joining, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.